talented photographer, and the owner of this Jackson Inn. Freddie Bourdon has a story about a little Woodstock button and his encounter with John Lennon. Here he is to tell his tale.
I don't really dance. I don't really play an instrument too well. I'm not good at telling jokes. I try to run a bar. Anyway, my name's Freddie Bourdon. This is Jackson Inn, and I owe so much to the people that come to the Jackson Inn.
Thank you.
You know, because if you don't come here, there's no Jackson Inn. That's the bottom line. So if you didn't hear me before, I don't tell jokes. I'm not a great musician. I read a little bit, I think a little bit, but I try to keep the bar going for you guys. And you guys. And you guys keep it going for me. I don't know if you remember a picture of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but Stephen Stills used to wear not this.
Stephen Stills!
Yeah! I'm sorry, not Stephen Stills. Graham Nash. No, not Graham Nash.
Graham Nash!
Not Neil Young.
David Crosby!
David Crosby. The drugs must be kicking in now. Yeah. David Crosby. Well, he wore a jacket like this on one of his photo shoots for the band. And I got this in 1969. I was going to college out in Oklahoma, and I went to a cowboy store, and they sold me this jacket. It had pockets, and it used to fit me 50 years ago. But it's been on its hanger for 42 years or so. Anyway, that was just something I brought up. Cool. Because I don't know.
Great.
It needs to be witnessed. There's so many girls I could have given that to over the last 40 years. I said no, and no. Now, do you know why those fringes are on that jacket? The fringes are on it because when it rains, the rain collects on the fringes and peels off. You know, that's what I was told by some Indian one time, many years ago. So, yeah, why am I up here? Well, I'm up here because I only have one story. I mean, I got a lot of stories. I mean, I can tell you about this, I can tell you about that, I can tell you about I haven't had a drink in 35 years. You know, I went to take my military physical up in Philadelphia in 71, and I told the doc I had a bilateral slip epiphysis from when I was 13, and he says, "Man, just it was a letter from the Alfred I. DuPont Institute." He said, "Look, man, you're just going to be a liability for us. Go back to college and be smart." So anyway, that was my war experience. Not much of a war experience, I'm sorry to say, but over the years, I guess all of us really like the Beatles. I mean, I'll be 70 my next birthday, so I can go back, to when the Beatles first came to the U.S. and it was a girls' band. Only girls liked the Beatles in '63, '64. And then around 65, 66, he said, they got a little dicey, and I really started to like them. And I really like John Lennon. I mean, if you know the working class hero, that's a wonderful, wonderful statement about our society, So I can sing it to you, but it's kind of dicey little song in itself. But anyway, my sister was going to, they called them finishing schools back then, in Philadelphia. They would teach you how to speak in public, teach you what clothes to wear and stuff like that. So she would walk past the Mike Douglas studios every day, to go from Wilmington, to go from where she was going to school to the train station. So she knew I liked the Beatles, and it was the year the Christmas vacation that John Lennon and Yoko were on the Mike Douglas show. It was December 1970. So my sister gets me this ticket, and I go ahead and, I bring my camera, but, I didn't have a flash. It was just black and white film. And if you take pictures in a studio, the lights are so bright it burns the image out of the film. You really never saw it. So I had one frame left, and I had a button I wanted to give to John Lennon. It was, if you guys, when you went to see Woodstock back in 1970, they gave you a little button, had a dove on the neck of a guitar, and it said peace and music. So I grabbed that and I said, I want to give this to John. So I'm in the studio, and I wait till the show's over. Back then, nobody even thought twice about security. So I walked backstage, and I had one frame left in my camera. And that was a camera I bought instead of buying an engagement ring that year. So I still got the cameras, but the other stuff went in its own direction. So anyway, I was told maybe I should use a bigger picture because, it looks like a little 5x7. But anyway, I took this shot of John Lennon backstage of the Mike Douglas show, and then when he walked out into the limousine, I said, John, I want you to have this button. And my conversation with John Lennon was, thanks, Mom. That was it. Story's over.